Welcome, my friends. Today we are reviewing and discussing the Ridge pen. So Ridge came onto the scene a couple years ago with their minimalist design for an RFID-proof wallet, and I have really enjoyed their design, and I've got a couple of their products now. Last time I went ahead and ordered this, I had a discount code, so I threw something else into the cart. And this is what it looks like when you get your Ridge pen. So it's a fine box, nothing to really stand out, but it's a nice presentation for a gift. To note, I actually don't want companies to spend a lot on the box. I'd rather you put that extra money into the product itself. You open it up, comes out of the little box. You've got a little pen sleeve here. It is branded. It's fine. It does what it does. It doesn't feel like it's going to scrape anything up, but personally I don't slip carry. One thing I kind of thought was this would have some sort of MOLLE attachment on the back for like a backpack, or even like a cut through for like a belt or anything, but it does not. So this is purely a pen slip. You cannot attach it to anything in any standard fashion. So anyway, you pull out your pen. This pen was the forged carbon fiber model, and that was to go ahead and match my forged carbon wallet there. All right, these pens come in at $65 for the aluminum version. The carbon fiber here was $85, and it goes up to $125 for a gold-plated one. The aluminum model comes in at 1 ounce. This carbon fiber model here comes in at 0.9 ounces, the lightest pen I actually have, and the titanium version comes in at 1.5 ounces. So that is really cool. This thing is super light. And the nose cone is made of aluminum using a CNC lathe to induce this knurling onto it. So it works fine. It's not too grippy. Under the hood, this pen takes a Parker refill. It comes with a EasyFlow 9000, but I always like to use these Montverde P42. I use blue black, but let's keep going. The spring you noted was up there. All right, it's got a nice little O-ring there to help give you friction. So that's a nice little addition that they did. The clip is manganese, and it is springy. I had no problems. It was actually very smooth going in and out of pocket. There was no real milling up here to kind of impede the flow of your fabric. So it was very smooth in and out of pocket. That said, personally, I like clip designs that are a little bit more thin to the body, and I don't really care for this flare as much because when you walk by things like a desk or something like that, sometimes it might scrape up against it, but that's just me. Like I said, though, no problems in and out of pocket. This pen is 5.3 inches overall. It feels nice in the hand. It's a little bit on the thicker side for me. Personally, I like my pens just a little bit thinner, but it was still fine. The feel was fine. It's I'm kind of longing for more up here in terms of milling, and also there's not much grip there because there is no milling. So it's very smooth. The feel was fine. Nothing really notable. The actual mech here, I'm kind of like love and hate at the same time. So the actual feel of it is very nice. So if you look here, the bolt has, where is it? There you go. The bolt here has that little R for the branding, but it's got this kind of cog shape, so it catches your thumb very well. When you put it down to deploy it, it's a very smooth, crisp action, and it's very little throw. It's barely just over there. So it's a very short throw as far as, you know, moving side to side. Lengthwise, it's about average, a little longer than some of my other pens. But one thing I don't care for is this design here that would allow grit to the inside of the body when the pen is out. Especially given if you look at this part up here, they had the room to continue that bolt. They could have shortened this part because they actually have no bolt there. I don't know, man, it's just a missed opportunity, right? If you're going to have the length, you should have a longer bolt, so that way it doesn't open the cavity up to grit to get in there. And if you're not going to have that length and allow that opening, you should have shortened this pen that much more. So just is what it is, kind of a minor gripe, but the feel of the mechanism is solid, even though I don't really care for that opening up there. Up top, we've got our screw kind of holding in the cap and the clip. One thing I noticed that I didn't care for was there is a very noticeable rattle when this is not deployed. I'll see if you can hear it. So there's a noticeable rattle when it's not deployed. When it's deployed, just like other pens, it goes away, but really annoying to me personally, but at that price point, it's just something you have to learn to live with. For aesthetics, I am rating this a 3.5 out of 5. It would just be a standard 3 because it's, nice. It's got a little bit of knurling. It looks kind of, nicer than the average pen. It did get an extra half point because this carbon fiber material is pretty cool. Again, it's cooler in real life than it's coming out on camera here. All right, I'm going to put a light on it so you can see the material a little bit better. There we go. So once you've got lighting at a different angle, you can kind of see the forged carbon effect there. That does make this pen really beautiful to look at. For feel, this pen gets a 3 out of 5. So it feels nice. There's nothing wrong with it, but that said, it's a little bit too big for me personally. I don't care for the knurling up here. It's not grippy enough. And then there's no milling or body design other than that scant, their imprint or whatever it is of their branding there. So for the mechanism, I'm going to give this again a 3 out of 5. It's a little bit better than average. It's got a nice crisp feel there, except I would have actually given this a 4 if they had covered up that part there with a longer bolt. Because the actual feel of the bolt, the use is nice and crisp, and it's an enjoyable short throw once you get down there. So the feel is really nice, but I don't care. I had to drop at a point because they left this part open to, dust and debris and other things. So would have got a 4, but it got a 3 because of that. And finally, what I'm calling the Z factor, kind of other features that would add to the attractiveness of this pen, I gave it a 2 out of 5. We do have a cool forged carbon fiber here. Not many people offer or have a carbon fiber pen. Most of the public, that are not into pens aren't even going to know that you can get a carbon fiber pen, really. So that adds 1 point for the cool factor, the Z factor there. And then I gave it 1 more point for the Z factor because it is branded. Now, I really don't care about this, right? But other people will do that where everything they carry is branded together, and that's like a big thing that those folks look for. So because this brand does carry over into other EDC things, I gave that 1 point for the cool factor, the Z factor as it were. Altogether, that gives this pen an 11.5 on my Zen rating scale. And there you have it. It's a fine entry level pen. If you're in the market, and especially if you've already got stuff of this brand and you like this brand and you want branded stuff, you should definitely take a look at this. If you're really into pens already, this doesn't really bring anything that cool or new to the table, with the exception of being such a low cost. This is really kind of pales in comparison to most of my other Q3D billet spins, Nottinghams, things of that nature. This is just not in that league. Overall, it's a fine EDC, and that's what they were going for, really. I will say I actually don't have any zirconium pens in my collection right now, so because of that, when I'm wearing black, I actually don't have pens that match. So this is my go-to black pen right now for when I'm wearing kind of, my dressier clothing. If I need a black pen, I'm actually grabbing this one. So thank you, Ridge, for getting into the pen game. I'm amazed that you could offer this at such a low price. But again, I really wish you would have really just kind of filled in, added a length to that bolt to get rid of that empty space there. Thank you guys for coming along with us on this review of the Ridge pen. We'll talk to you soon, guys.